And I I kid you not, I really felt like a hand on my shoulder. And I turned around. I mean, that's the first reaction, right? I'm alone in the house. So I turned around. I saw nothing. But I felt this presence. So I truly hope that the message I'm sharing inspires and motivates you to improve your life. Now let's get to the point. Welcome to another episode of ToDaPointPodcast. So this episode is going to be a little bit different since I have not talked about this topic yet, which is the paranormal, supernatural. Since we're approaching Halloween, I thought it was a good idea to share some stories with you that I found online. What I'm going to do is read them to you. I have not read them yet. I just selected them by title. And you'll see my first reaction, legit first reaction. And along the way, I will also share with you some of my experiences when it comes to paranormal or supernatural. Let's get into the first story. This is from a Reddit user, and the title is The Little Hens. So he says, I have never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen. Other houses on her street had strange things going on too. A few homes away from her lived a family. One night, the daughter went to bed with a bad headache. The next day, she was dead. She passed away from an aneurysm. That's some crazy shit, man. After her funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle to check on their pets. My mom and dad, who were dating at the time, went with him. My mother had heard there was a grand piano and she wanted to play it, and my dad was studying to be a veterinarian. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush her ankles. She thought a cat must have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing and then she felt it again. Man, this is some creepy shit. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her legs tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called my uncle and father, and waited for them. Back outside, my uncle could tell my mom was rattled and asked what was wrong. She told him what happened, and he turned white. He told her the daughter who had died used to play a game with her father. When he played the piano, she'd crawl underneath, grab his ankles, and push his feet up and down on the pedals. Holy shit. I usually do not occupy my time with stuff like this because I really believe that there is more between heaven and earth, more than people think. Lots of people think that spirituality and spirits and stuff, that is mumbo jumbo, but man, I tell you, I believe in it. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I've had some experiences too. And this story, well, it's not the same, but literally like 2 weeks ago, I was sitting in my living room, sitting at the table, and I think it was around 10 p.m., maybe later. And I kid you not, I really felt like a hand on my shoulder. And I turned around. I mean, that's the first reaction, right? I'm alone in the house. I have 2 cats. I don't see them jump on my shoulder. So I turned around. I saw nothing. But I felt this presence, and it was a pleasant presence. I have to say that my grandfather and my grandmothers, they all passed away, unfortunately. But I felt this presence, and I knew, or at least I believe, it was my grandmother. So I just put my hand on my shoulder and I just smiled. And I was like, you know what? I'm fine. It didn't feel anything. It didn't feel evil or anything like that. But seriously, I kid you not, about 2 weeks ago this happened. And I just went on about my business. But that is just one of the experiences I've had so far when it comes to supernatural. Anyway, the story, that's some creepy shit, man. I'll leave that house and I'll never return, seriously. Not even for $2 million or something. Yeah, creepy shit. Okay, that was the first story. I'm gonna get into the second one. And this is called The Phantom Patient. So the ambulance company that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance, number 12, I think it says here. This is another Reddit user. So he's saying a lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never put much stock in paranormal stuff. Like I said before, lots of people don't believe in that. That is until I had my, oh my God, my cat just walked in. This shit gets me paranoid. That is until I had my own experience with Rig 12. I think that's a number of one of the ambulances. Anyway, let's continue. My partner and I were working in a rural community at 3 a.m. and it was pitch dark and completely quiet. We were both dozing. I was in the driver's seat and she was in the passenger seat. I woke up to a muffled voice, but I thought my partner was talking. I told her I was trying to sleep and close my eyes. I distinctly heard a male voice say, "Oh my God, am I dying?" God, am I really reading this? Followed by a few seconds of heavy breathing. My partner and I sat up straight and looked back into the patient compartment, where it sounded like the voice had come from. Things were quiet for a couple of seconds. Then we heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator and a hiss, as if it was leaking. I turned on the lights and we ran out of the rig. I thought a transient might have climbed in while we were asleep, so we opened the rear doors. No one was there. I checked the oxygen bottles, neither was opened. We didn't sleep much after that. I can totally imagine. Yeah, this is a crazy one too. You see, the thing is, I really believe that when people are unexpectedly pulled away from life, so basically like maybe died in an accident or get shot and killed, when they don't expect it, it has this trauma, and that trauma contains energy, and that energy just sticks around. So if that person or that spirit, I don't know how to say it in this case, doesn't have the chance to actually get closure that they're not living anymore, they kind of stick around and relive that moment. That's what I believe. I don't know. I mean, this is not scientifically proven, so I don't know. But that's what I believe. And what it does is it just keeps repeating itself like in a sort of a loop. And that's why I believe like sometimes you have to do certain rituals with Palo Santo and stuff like that to actually, or sage, to actually talk to the spirit and tell them to go, that it's okay for them to, to go into the light or something like that. So they can have the peace. That is some traumatizing stuff, man. I don't know. I wonder what happened to this guy after. Like, did he ever go to work? Unfortunately, that's not in the story, but yeah, I think I might need some time to recollect myself after something like that. Story number 3, the impish ghost. So my neighbor Diane and I had a playful poltergeist for years and we called it Billy. Another Reddit story. I'd come home and find something put in a weird place. Milk in a cupboard, toilet paper in the fridge, laundry detergent in the bathtub. Diane once called to ask if Billy had been around because she couldn't find a gallon of milk. We finally found it outside on her back steps. And sugar, darn sugar every morning, my sugar bowl was empty. He had a little bit of a sweet tooth. Anyway, I deal with this in a funny way because it freaks me the hell out. So I just trying to make jokes to kind of, blow off steam a little bit. Anyway, when I had enough, I would point to Diane's home and yell, "Go see Diane." Within 5 minutes, I'd get a call from her. "Thanks a lot," she'd say. He'd gone and pulled shenanigans at her place. This occurred for the entire 2 years we lived there. No one believed us, not even our husbands. My mother thought someone was stealing from us when we were sleeping or out of the house. My sister believed something was going on, but didn't know what. I still can't explain any of it. I have to say that poltergeists are also, well, they say that's kind of a, maybe sometimes bad energy. This would freak me out too. And actually it did. I was living in another city a couple of years ago. I was living at home and we were living in this semi-old apartment. It had its years. And I would always hear the couch move and stuff like that during the day or especially at night. And first I thought it was me, but my mom told me that she was noticing that too, and my brothers also. And I do believe that they can still linger around because remember, usually when you have like a rental apartment, lots of people have lived in there, so their energy is still lingering. And some people even pass away in apartments and you just clean it out and just rent it to the next person, right? So, and you never know what happened before you. And also don't forget, I do believe that everybody has their own energies with them, right? So if they don't take them with them, and don't ask me how because I don't know, they just linger there. So yeah, there might be a possibility that there was really something in the house. Creepy shit. All right, the 4th story, the Ashley Street ghost. So this college, apparently it's called the Huntingdon College. Really? It's a little bit of a wordplay here. Huntingdon College is just one of many haunted colleges in America, each with its own ghost stories. This next true tale comes from the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. It says the haunting happened in 1972 at a party hosted by University of Michigan students living on Ashley Street. A 15-year-old girl, who probably had no business being there in the first place, suddenly left a strange, bone chilling cold, according to the Michigan Daily. In an attempt to warm up, she went upstairs, because heat rises, we guess. That's when things went really bad. One of the walls of the house started moving, and a black shadow approached the girl. Meanwhile, downstairs, posters were spontaneously popping off the walls and falling into a growing pile on the floor. Oh my god. The girl wandered back downstairs, where she found herself saying these strange words. Her words didn't seem all that strange to the students who lived in the house. Before they moved in, the house had been inhabited by a man with a very serious addiction. The reason he no longer lived there, he died of a heroin overdose. Has the ghost made any more appearances? That remains a mystery worthy of the most memorable horror story. That is, like I said before, people, when someone just abruptly get taken away from life, their energy lingers around, especially in buildings, it has nowhere to go. This might have happened. The thing is, I guess we'll never know, but this is freaking me out. I don't know how to respond to this. Yeah. I also forgot to mention, in the same apartment I used to live, there were a couple of things happening. First of all, I never liked being by myself. So when my mother would go to work or my brothers would go with friends or go to school and I was alone, I always felt like there was something there. And I remember on various occasions standing in the kitchen doing the dishes, and I would see this shadow moving in the corner of my eye, and this shit gives me goosebumps, man. I would see a shadow, but the thing is, when you turn around to look, you never see something there. And I also remember one time my brother was telling me that we had 3 bedrooms and one medium living room. So I had my own bedroom and my brothers had to share a room. And one of my brothers said that the night before, he woke up in the middle of the night and he saw a lady sitting on the bed of my other brother, and that scared the living shit out of him. So I have one last story, then I'm gonna wrap this up because this shit freaks me out. About 2 years ago, this was during the lockdown, so it might be 3 years ago. Anyway, I remember I from time to time I have sleep paralysis. I have to say that, but when I do have sleep paralysis, I can't move, of course, and I can't do anything. But this time was different. I remember I was feeling something like pulling on my toes. It was very annoying because I was trying to sleep. So I remember sitting up and I looked down and I saw this woman sitting on my bed. I wasn't feeling in danger or anything. I wasn't scared. I was just annoyed. So I looked at her and I said, "Can you please stop? I'm trying to sleep." And I went back to sleep. I think a couple of days later, I remembered what happened and I was in shock. I was like, what the hell did I experience a couple of days ago? And I remember telling my mom, and one of the great things about my mom is that she never tells me that what I experience is bullshit, because she has experienced some stuff herself too. And she just told me, you know what, if you feel unsafe, do a prayer, and just protect yourself, like your energy, your spirit. Again, people, there is more between heaven and earth than we think, than we know, because you have a lot of people that base everything on science, and that's awesome because you do have to do your research and prove certain things. But I mean, it's ignorant to think that we are these small beings walking on this planet, and that there's nothing more. Some things just cannot be explained, but again, that doesn't mean that it's not real. And I do believe that a lot of people don't want to believe such thing because they know that there's something there, but they're just scared. So yeah. Anyway, I am curious to know about your paranormal experiences. So if you have any, leave them in the comment section, and I'm excited to read them. Anyway, that was the video for today. Happy Halloween, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one.